Elimination Chamber in Germany, was a professional wrestling pay-per-view event produced by WWE. It took place on February 17, 2013, at the New Orleans Arena in New Orleans, Louisiana. The pay-per-view was the fourth annual Elimination Chamber event. The event garnered 213,000 pay-per-view buys, up from 178,000 buys the previous year's event received. This year's event was headlined by The Rock defending the WWE Championship against CM Punk. Background: Elimination Chamber featured professional wrestling matches involving different wrestlers from pre-existing scripted feuds, plots, and storylines that played out on WWE's television programs. Wrestlers portrayed heels or faces as they followed a series of events that built tension, and culminated in a wrestling match or series of matches. CM Punk began to feud with The Rock after Punk defeated Ryback in a tables, ladders, and chairs match for the WWE Championship with the interference of The Shield. Rock defeated Punk for the title at the Royal Rumble, after The Rock requested a restart of the match when Mr. McMahon was about to strip the title from Punk when the lights went out and Rock was laid out on the announce table. The following night, Punk invoked his rematch clause for the title, and on the February 11 episode of Raw, his manager Paul Heyman successfully negotiated whereby if Rock loses by countout or disqualification, Punk would be awarded the title. Big Show would begin to feud with Alberto Del Rio after humiliating Del Rio's personal ring announcer, Ricardo Rodriguez, sarcastically picking him to fight Show for the World Heavyweight Championship during Champions' Choice Night on the New Year's Eve 2012 episode of Raw, leading to a disqualification win for Big Show after Del Rio interfered. On the January 11, 2013 episode of SmackDown, Del Rio defeated Show in a last man standing match for the championship. 3 days later on Raw, Show announced that he would invoke his rematch clause at the pay-per-view. The week after, he made the match a last man standing match. Del Rio retained the title after Royal Rumble when Rodriguez duct-taped Show's legs to the bottom rope, preventing him from standing up. After continuing attacks against each other, both agreed to another title match at Elimination Chamber. After John Cena announced that he will face the WWE Champion at WrestleMania 29, SmackDown General Manager Booker T made an Elimination Chamber match to determine the number one contender for the World Heavyweight Championship with only 6 entrants allowed to participate by winning qualifying matches issued by Booker T and Teddy Long. Randy Orton defeated Wade Barrett to qualify and Daniel Bryan defeated Rey Mysterio to qualify also. Kane and Jack Swagger defeated Dolph Ziggler and Zack Ryder respectively to earn qualification. With Mark Henry and Chris Jericho making recent returns to the WWE, both demanded a spot in the chamber. Both defeated men who had already qualified for the Elimination Chamber match. Henry defeated Orton and Jericho defeated Bryan. Event: the pre-show saw Tensai and Brodus Clay defeat Team Rhodes Scholars. Clay and Tensai won with a double splash, extending their unbeaten streak. The first match that aired on the pay-per-view was the World Heavyweight Championship match, between the Big Show and the defending World Heavyweight Champion Alberto Del Rio. For the finish, Del Rio's Wiggy Ray kicked Ricardo Rodriguez's bucket that Show was holding into his head, which eventually led to his signature cross-arm breaker for the submission victory. The second match featured United States champion Antonio Cesaro defending his title against The Miz, who came into the match with an injured shoulder via an attack by Cesaro on Raw. Cesaro eventually won by disqualification after he knocked The Miz's leg, causing him to fall knee first into his groin, therefore forcing the referee to call for a low blow. Afterwards, a frustrated The Miz intentionally gave Cesaro a low blow. The third match was the Elimination Chamber match, which involved Mark Henry, Daniel Bryan, Randy Orton, Kane, Chris Jericho, and Jack Swagger. Jericho and Bryan started the match, while the other 4 competitors were locked inside pods. One pod at a time opened during the match at intervals of 4 minutes, releasing a wrestler into the match. Swagger was the first wrestler released, followed by Kane, Orton, and finally Henry. Before Henry entered the match, all of the 5 were down. Henry used the world's strongest slam to pin Bryan and eliminate him after approximately 16.5 minutes. Kane was also eliminated by Henry in the same way. Swagger, Jericho and Orton teamed up to eliminate Henry, after a big boot by Swagger, codebreaker by Jericho and an RKO by Orton to pin Henry after 23 minutes. After Henry was eliminated, he re-entered the chamber and hit the 3 with the world's strongest slam. Jericho was the next man to be eliminated, after an RKO from Orton. Immediately after the pin, Swagger rolled Orton up to win and become the #1 contender for the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania 29. The following match was the 6-man tag team match between the Hero team of John Cena, Sheamus and Ryback against The Shield. The face team took control of the early goings of the match with Cena, Ryback and Sheamus tagging each other and beating down Seth Rollins. The match became unbalanced when Reigns and Ambrose interfered. Reigns then speared Sheamus through the barricade. After what appeared to be a comeback from Cena's unit, Reigns also then speared Ryback as he was going for a shell shock on Rollins, who pinned him as Cena was preoccupied. The 5th match of the evening was an unannounced match between Dolph Ziggler and Kofi Kingston. Ziggler was caught by Kingston's Trouble in Paradise but only managed a 2 count when Big E Langston pulled Ziggler to safety. After throwing Kingston into the ring post, Ziggler connected with a zigzag for the win. After the match, Langston, who headed up the entrance with Ziggler and AJ Lee, came back to the ring to attack Kingston, eventually laying him out with his finisher. The 6th match was the WWE Divas Championship match between Tamina Snuka and the reigning champion Caitlyn. Tamina went for the Superfly Splash but missed, receiving a spear from the champ for the winning pin. The main event of the pay-per-view was the WWE Championship match between CM Punk and the champion The Rock. Near the end of the match, Punk whipped Rock against the ropes, which caused Rock to bump referee Mike Chioda, who was distracted by Paul Heyman, to the floor. Punk would then be able to hit the GTS on Rock, and would get an 18 count on Rock, but since the referee was knocked out, the pin was not counted. After The Rock countered a second GTS attempt with his signature finishers, Punk accidentally rolled on the replacement referee's ankle, making him unavailable for the rest of the match. Moments later, Rock ducked as Punk tried to hit him with his title belt, instead hitting He-Man. This allowed Rock to hit Punk with a rock bottom and gain a 3 count from original referee Chioda. This meant that The Rock would head to WrestleMania 29 to defend his championship against Royal Rumble winner John Cena in a rematch from WrestleMania XXVII. Aftermath. The next night on Raw, The Rock revealed a new design for the WWE Championship title. Cena became the #1 contender for the title and was about to make his way down to the ring to confront Rock until he was attacked by CM Punk, who felt he was still the #1 contender. Cena and Punk had a match to determine the #1 contender in which Cena came out victorious. Cena defeated Rock to capture the WWE Championship at WrestleMania 29. At WrestleMania 29, Alberto Del Rio defeated Jack Swagger to retain the World Heavyweight Championship. The next day on Raw, Dolph Ziggler cashed in his Money in the Bank briefcase on an injured Del Rio, and defeated Del Rio to capture the World Heavyweight Championship. After Caitlyn defeated Tamina at the Elimination Chamber, Layla began to show signs of a villainous turn by obsessing over Caitlyn's Divas Championship. On the March 8 edition of SmackDown, Caitlyn was defeated by Tamina in a non-title match after Layla inadvertently caused a distraction. The angle between Layla and Caitlyn was dropped a week later, and Caitlyn would go on to feud with AJ Lee after she became #1 contender in April. Caitlyn lost the Divas Championship to AJ at Payback. The following night on Raw, The Miz defeated Antonio Cesaro in a non-title no disqualification match via submission to earn another shot at the United States Championship. The title rematch took place the following week on SmackDown in a 2 out of 3 falls match, where Miz failed again to capture the title from Cesaro. Results, Elimination Chamber entrances and eliminations, see also. List of WWE pay-per-view events, references. External links, official Elimination Chamber website, Elimination Chamber matches.